I became like really insecure and just feeling like a need to fill the gap and the void that was left from having a broken home. I remember my family being pretty happy. Some of the happiest moments of my childhood was going up to my grandparents' house and staying with them for a few weeks in the summer. They had a beautiful house. Just every day they had something fun and new planned. I always looked forward to it every year, and I was always so sad to leave. And then I think as I started to get older, my parents were fighting a lot more, drinking a lot more. They drank like a lot. They were often drunk. I mean, we did have like the police called multiple times to our house too. Social services did come to our house. Yeah, it was kind of rough. I wouldn't say it was an easy childhood. I became like really insecure and just feeling like a need to fill the gap and the void that was left from having a broken home. So like I was drinking and smoking at like 13 and like ditching classes, doing all this, you know, just wild stuff. Like that was my way of filling the gap. Obviously, like my parents and the way our household was run wasn't like the best example of what a Christian family looked like. So I'd always, you know, kind of wondered about the existence of God and kind of doubted that he was real, and you know. So I went on a high school youth trip to, I think, the Colorado River it was. My grandparents were like, hey, we want to like pay for you to go on this trip. It seems like it's going to be awesome. And I really didn't want to go. They're like, we really want you to go, and I just didn't have an excuse to get out of it. So I ended up going, and the whole time the pastor was just nailing in this message of grace and grace and grace, and you're forgiven no matter what you've done. I think it just finally clicked for me, and I was like, it doesn't matter what I've done. Like, I have a clean slate, I'm forgiven, I'm perfect in God's eyes, despite my whole life before me. We were high school, we were leaders on this camp trip for like elementary school kids, Steve and I. That kind of brought us together on that trip. And then one night I'm just like looking up at the stars in my teepee and thinking like, oh my gosh, like I think I'm in love with Steve. Like it just like hit me, like I really like this guy. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, he has all the things that I want. And that is just that he loves Jesus, and he's a really nice guy. The details are fuzzy, but we kissed, and like we both confessed our love to each other at that point. I would say it's really rewarding to be able to find somebody that you trust, and to be honest with them about what's going on. Real life is being authentic and being vulnerable, and not just showing people the good parts of life or even the fake parts of life, but the real parts. For me, that's people seeing that like I have anger issues and I blow up sometimes, and I'm not perfect as a wife and a mother, and I feel guilty that I'm not, and you know, I need help in these areas. It's being human and being vulnerable, being honest with people about what's going on in your life.